I think we had seen each other in the lobby or something. And usually when I get on vacation, I keep my phone in airplane mode. So I was up there and I was just like, man, I just really want to get on here and check these trail cameras to see if anything's going on. So for some reason we were sitting there, we were talking, and I said, man, I said, oh, crap, look at my trail camera. Then he was like, what? Your trail camera? So I'm looking at him like, you hunt? So yeah. So of course, the coverts, to send the stuff straight to your camera.
Yep.
So I showed him the phone, and then he flipped his, I think it's forearm or something
Yeah, I
over.
got I got doubles now, but I got an arrow coming out of this one side tattoo, and then I got turkey tracks on the other side.
Nice.
Yeah. So he flipped his arm over. He said, man, I bow hunt too. I was like, what? I said, oh man. So we sitting there talking. I had the covert up, looking at stuff. And then his wife and my wife, they were standing there. I don't know what they were doing. And then, I know Kim was like, y'all talking about hunting? I said, my man is a hunter. So
Another week, and we are back again. We got another guest. He is Antonio Marsh, the most distinguished man in Colombia at Hunting with the Marshes. I am AB3 at official Bryant land, all over the place. And Brett Morse is joining us this evening. Brett, as you can see from his background, big buck killer, sports fan, podcaster, father, husband, all around great human being, all that good stuff. Blue River Bow Hunting Podcast. Brett, welcome to the Bryant Land Show.
Hey man, thank you guys for having me. It's always fun to go on another show because I'm not the one that has to host it, so I get to talk when talked to and have a good time with it. You know what I mean?
Hey man, people do not understand the work that goes into podcasting. Like I did it solo the first time around, and Antonio was a guest a few times. And then when I started to come back, I was like, man, I need some help. And thanks to Antonio, like he been lining up the guests because as you probably know, lining up guests is the hardest part of podcasting, right?
Oh, absolutely. And the thing I like, I was in a similar situation, did almost 100 episodes by myself, had a guy on a couple times from Tennessee talking turkey hunting, deer hunting. And one day I was like, man, that conversation, that podcast episode I just did with him just worked so well. The back and forth that me and him had. And I'm like, I'm going to ask him to do this with me. Next thing I know, we're just in a rhythm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We're getting good guests on. He is a big factor in that. He loves getting the big guests. I liked having the regular guy on that nobody's ever heard of that's killing giants. You know what I mean? And he's like, dude, let's kind of shoot for a higher caliber of guest. I'm like, let's do it. So episode 100, we had Jason Say on from Real Tree, and
Nice.
after that, I was hooked on getting those big guests and picking their brain, and now that we're friends with them, you know what I mean? Like I have their numbers and I could call them anytime I want, and meeting people and making connections. It's a ton of fun, man.
Yeah, no, that's definitely been part of it because that's kind of the formula that we've been following. We're just talking, to the average everyday Joe. But as this thing continue to grow, maybe we'll get, some of the big guys on. But then, of course, our podcast formula is just like probably I don't know, Antonio, what would you say, like 40% hunting and 60% bullshit? Like that's
yeah, I might say the BS a little higher, but yeah.
Yeah, but sometimes those work out perfect because maybe you didn't line somebody up that week, and it's like, hey, dude, let's just pick a few things, bullshit for an hour, boom. You can do almost an internal every once in a while, and it pays dividends and lets you be you guys, and go back and forth. And I could tell last episode that I listened to, you guys were having a good time, just talking and bullshitting.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. We hit record, and then 45 minutes later, 45 minutes or an hour later, we end up with something. But man, it's about you. We brought you on, so let's see. There's so many directions that we could start this thing. Like, obviously I work in sports. Like I'm a big sports fan. We are big bow hunters, so we're gonna be all over the place. I'm just telling everybody that right
Sounds
now.
good.
So for me, let's start bow hunting. All those bucks back there. Are you a bow hunter like from opening day to close? Do you muzzle? Do you rifle? Like what's your weapon of choice?
Well, until last year, I hadn't shot a deer with a firearm since 2014. Um, and I was trying to keep that going. You know, everybody wants to, oh, if you're a big bow hunter, you want to get it done with a bow, right? But
Yep.
yes, I was that person to take bow even into gun season. But we had a little bit of tragic stuff happen with our family around the Thanksgiving time last year. Didn't get to hunt as much in that window,
Mm.
and had a good friend of mine say, "Hey, man, I got some real good bucks cruising this bottom hayfield," and it was already muzzleloader season. It was into December. I was like, "Okay, man, I'll pick up the smoke pole. Haven't done it in a really long time." Went out there, had a missed probably one of the biggest bucks I have ever even shot at with the muzzleloader, and was just so down on myself and ready to just give up. And I went back for round two, last day of muzzleloader season with 3 minutes to go. I shot one.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
Wow.
incredible down to the wire. I mean, was it my biggest buck? Absolutely not. But the what it meant to me at the time was just huge and beneficial to my mental health.
Absolutely, absolutely. And sorry to hear about the tragedy with your family, but it is always something about those 11th hour like bucks, like just the last day, or just deer in general. Like, you kill one on the last day of the season at the last hour. It's just something about that.
Yeah, it just means so much more to you.
Yep. Get in there,
But
Antonio. You keep nodding your head. I mean,
yeah,
you know
what's
what?
up?
You bought Brett to me, so I'm gonna try to, you know, sit back a little bit, and just let y'all kind of go at it. But man, go ahead, get in there, Mr. Bourbon, Mr. Columbia.
Tell you something. Brett's my dude, man. So I don't think I told you how me and Brett met, did I?
This
If
is a
you
great story,
did,
man.
I was about to say if you did, it's been a minute. So
Okay. So I'm a traveler. So we were in Punta Cana, Brett.
Punta Cana.
Punta Cana. Brett was on
oh
his
my
honeymoon.
God. Oh my God. So y'all met on one of Antonio's bougie ass trips.
Hey,
Okay.
hold on. He
It
was on
was my
honeymoon.
honeymoon,
He
man.
was on honeymoon. So don't consider put that on me. Okay. So it was funny because I think I had saw Brett in a resort, earlier, like kind of past, the resorts ain't but so big. So we were for some reason went to dinner or something that
We were in
night.
a hot tub.
Well, no, okay. No, Brett. I'm gonna tell you what it was. I think we had seen each other in the lobby or something. And usually when I get on vacation, I keep my phone in airplane mode. So I was up there and I was just like, man, I just really want to get on here and check these trail cameras to see if anything's going on. So for some reason we were sitting there, we were talking, and I said, man, and I said, oh crap, look at my trail camera. Then he was like, what? Your trail camera? So I'm looking at me like, you hunt? So yeah. So of course, the coverts, to send the stuff straight to your camera.
Yep.
So I showed him the phone, and then he flipped his, I think it's forearm or something
Yeah,
over.
I got doubles now, but I got an arrow coming out of this one side tattoo, and then I got turkey tracks on the other side.
Nice.
Yeah. So he flipped his arm over. He said, man, I bow hunt too. I was like, what? I said, oh man. So we sitting there talking. I had the covert up, looking at stuff. And then his wife and my wife, they were standing there. I don't know what they were doing. And I know Kim was like, y'all talking about hunting? I said, my man is a hunter. So so for the rest of the trip, you know
Oh
what all
yeah.
we was talking about.
Oh, for sure. I was probably 30 beers deep too.
So but here's the thing. So I think he probably felt the same way I did because I'm really not a big fan of going on our trips in the middle of October.
Yeah. Well, it was the early October because my wedding anniversary is the 6th, and we flew out the next day. So it'd have been like the eighth somewhere around in there. And I was like, come on, I'll give you the first week of October. That's cool. November, we're out.
Right. Because even
So
for y'all in Indiana, like the season, like it doesn't start till October, right?
Yeah, October 1st, and it really doesn't even get good until I'd say somewhere around the 20th to the 25th. That's when the pre-rut really gets kicked off, and after that, it's no holds bar. It's I want to be there as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, we down there in Punta Cana trying to make these women happy, and the Bucks back here chasing their women.
Yeah.
I don't know
Hey,
Heck,
about you, but I think when we got back, I want to say that Sunday, I think I was in the woods.
I was in the woods too. As soon as I landed, actually, we came back and I didn't even sleep or nothing, got dressed, and I just wanted to be out there. I didn't even care if I saw anything. It was my first, back then, it was, I didn't really do the velvet hunt. I started to go to Kentucky and do the velvet hunt there. There's a big gap in time there, but I hadn't really started doing those trips yet. So that was like my first attempt to get in the woods since the season opened. I'm like, I'm itching. I'm ready to get out there right now. It could have been 80 degrees. I don't care. I'm ready to get in the stand.
Hey, so I'll tell you something. So I was chatting with your wife on Instagram last year. We went to Los Cabos.
Nice.
I said, Joyce, I said, listen, it was months out. I said, we're going to Los Cabos. What y'all gonna do? She said, what's the dates? I sent her the dates. She said, Antonio, you already know that's not going to happen.
No, no.
what was the dates?
Man, it was like we went October 11th through the 18th or something like that.
She already knew.
That's what I'm talking about, Brett. At least she know. Cause I get on Antonio all the time. He be wanting to go to Iceland and take, cruises to Alaska and all kind of stuff in the middle of hunting season. And I'm just like, what are you doing,
I
Brett?
can't do it, man. Mentally, I would be a train wreck. I'd be just itching, like you said, having the trail cam back then. I didn't even run cell cams like I do now. I'm like you, man. It could be 2 o'clock in the morning. I could be dead asleep. Somebody could call me. I ain't answering it. Somebody could text me. I ain't answering it. That cell phone notification goes off. I'm like up, like what was it? What was it?
When I had coverts, I had the notification on my phone, and the number of times that the person that I was dating at the time that I almost had got into like just unnecessary, what I call unnecessary altercations, because my phone was going off at 2 o'clock in the morning. And it was just like, it's the trail cam. Like, what is like relax. But I'm also the type of person I don't like what I call a dancing phone where it's just like buzzing and beeping and stuff like all
Yeah.
the time. So now it's on silent and I got Tacticams and I don't have any kind of like notifications. But I probably would be a very rich human being if I got paid for every time I went to go check my Tacticam. Because I am literally sitting on my phone, just like swiping down, like for reload, like just to see.
Right.
Like it's crazy, man. I don't know. I don't golf. Um, I kind of got out of video games. Like I'll game a little bit with my son now because he's 20 and he still, does like the Madden and college football and stuff. So I might
Oh
game with
yeah.
him a little bit. But man, like all year round, that's the only thing I think about is like deer hunting or hunting something.
Right.
I really wish I could get in like on some like a spot close by with just like pigs where I could just go and just scratch that itch. But like, man, second week of September can't get here fast enough down here for me.
I guarantee it, man. And it's wild since I started filming and producing content like on YouTube and putting videos together. That's a whole nother obsession. And it's like, turkey season, I go to like 6 different states, deer hunting, I go to like 6 different. It's like I can't stop myself. Once I just keep going and a lot of people shy away from the whole public land scene and stuff like that. You could literally I would love for somebody to give me a challenge and be like, okay, you've never hunted this state, so you're going to go hunt this state from this date to this date. I already got 10, 15 properties mapped out before they even finish their sentence. Like, I love doing that sort of stuff. I'm good at reading topo. I'm, recognizing thermal hubs and all that kind of stuff. It's just fun. It's a challenge for me to try to get in on a place that I've never hunted before. And it just makes it so much fun to film that journey too. You know what I mean?
And see, that's the fun thing to like the self-filming. That has completely changed the way that I look at hunting. Like coming from a video background, like I can get so crazy with self filming and angles, but you also got to remember it's like, so I always tell people self filming is shooting a deer twice or whatever it is that you
Yeah,
hunting is literally shooting them twice. Like you got to get it in frame and have like the right frame with your camera to have the shot, and then you got to actually stop, focus, make a great shot on the animal. So like I love self filming.
for sure. And I just had Philip Vanderpool. I don't know if you know who that is or not, but he was on HNS Throughout. He was like one of the faces of bow hunting back in the heyday of the 90s and early 2000s of that outdoor channel
Yep.
sort of thing. And I just had him on and I said, "What's your thoughts on the industry going from that side of those produced hunts, very fake hunts? I mean, let's be honest, a lot of that stuff's reshot and whatnot, to transitioning into the digital age of YouTube, Carbon TV, all that digital platform stuff." And he didn't even know how it went that route. And I'm like, well, that's what changed the game as far as content. That's the way everybody, watches it differently. I may like something that's 15 minutes long. There's not a whole lot of talking. You got a lot more action. Then there's videos out there where the guy talks for 25 minutes and you didn't even see but three deer in the whole video. And you're like, well, I just wasted 20 minutes of my life.
Right.
But somewhere, some way, somebody likes watching that form of content, not me personally.
Right.
And that's just changed the whole game on that. And you can see it from so many different angles, styles. That's the cool thing about YouTube. Everybody's got their own style of doing things for the most part. I mean, you may have somebody you like to you admire or you look up to and you like the way they do things and you do it that way. But for the most part, I like trying to do stuff my own way and
Yeah.
throw a different wrench in it.
Yeah. That's I struggle with that. Where I've released a couple of my hunts the last couple of months. And YouTube and their algorithm, I swear if algorithm was a person, I would fight them. Like it
Right,
would
right.
be on site because I don't understand the rhyme or reason. But I go back and forth. It's like, okay, do I just kind of like cut this down and like get straight to the action or get straight to you seeing the animals, or do you like do the setup? Because like I said, I can nerd out on video. Like I take my
For
drone, I
sure.
got drone shots, I got slow-mo and leaves blowing in the wind, like all like that real tree shit, like all that stuff that you
Right.
see like on TV. But then it's like, okay, do I just want to cut it down, just get to the nitty-gritty? Like you said, I'm still trying to get that sweet spot. I'm trying to get Antonio to get up on the self filming game because he's had some good Antonio, you got some good stuff on just like GoPros,
Yeah.
like with some of them bucks that you killed.
But you know what? And I'm gonna tell you something. I love self filming, but I hate it. And I'll tell you, I found myself doing too much when I started self filming. And I was just telling someone the other day because he's trying to get into it. And I said, well, hey, I said for me, it's like a whole process of self filming. I'm just GoPro. I said, so it starts from the time I get in the blind and I'm just trying to get the GoPro out there, just get it somewhere until I get some light. Then when I get some light, then I can adjust it and see, where's a good angle. But then while you're doing that, you also got to be careful when you start sticking your hand out there. Is it deer to the left? Is it one to the right? Once you get it together. And then I said, now once you get a deer coming in, now you got to worry about, getting your phone, starting the camera, get your bow or whatever, get something together. I say it's a lot of moving pieces with it going with self filming. I get really paranoid with self filming that I'm gonna lose a deer because I'm trying to get it on video. That's my problem.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've
yeah,
been there. Been there a
right.
lot. Last year, I had this. It's on our YouTube channel. It's called Untold Stories. I was gonna try to put a video together on this particular buck, and it just didn't work out. But I seen him from across the field. Where I'm at in Indiana, it's very flat patch woods. So I was hunting the corner of a patch woods, looking at another patch woods, and I seen him come out of the corner 300-400 yards, and I got to watch this 160 almost walk all the way to me. So I had time to I got the GoPro going. I got the big camera going. I'm knocked ready to let one fly, and I needed him to come inside the fence row. He chose not to. He chose to go on the outside. He came back in about 40 yards down. I couldn't get a shot, But like that was the one time I'm like, okay, I got plenty of time to get myself ready. I can see him. You know, I'm not in any hurry. There has been a million times where I've had one chasing a doe come through or whatever, and it's like sometimes if it's big enough, I'm grabbing the bow. I'm forgetting the camera. You know, I still like putting that stuff out there, but I'm trying to shoot that deer first.
Yeah, yeah. Like those are the worst, right? Like when you get, I've had a couple where it's like you see this doe come speeding by, and and I mean, I'm keeping 100. You know, you goofing off on your phone or whatever. You got your
Right.
head down or whatever, and you just hear like this crash like through the woods, and it's this doe that's speeding by, and you trying to get your camera and stuff and get everything, press record or whatnot. And then the next thing you know, the 8 point is just sitting there tiptoeing like trying to figure out what's going on. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like it
Right.
literally happens that quick. And I try to be a minimalist. Like, I got the one big camera, I got a second angle GoPro that I keep with me in the blind. But like, yeah, just you can get so crazy with like I see people they'll have like cameras like behind like the spot where they shooting the deer. Like if they baiting, they'll put like another camera behind the corn pile. They got
Right.
360 cameras, and I'm just like, oh my God. Like it looks good when it comes together, but like Antonio said, like when you trying to put all that stuff out, and oh, by the way, trying to kill a deer, kill a hog, or whatever the case, man, it can get real annoying and real deep real fast.
For
with
sure.
me. Let me tell you something. When I got that GoPro, and I don't think I asked you. I said, "Listen, I'll turn this GoPro on, and I don't even think it lasts an hour."
Yeah, no,
So,
they don't make a camera that you can just turn it on and just leave it.
Well,
Your battery life.
I've seen people do it with GoPros, but they hook a power bank up to it and just let it run. And then when
Mm,
they're done hunting, they just clear the card. That's all they do.
I'm doing that.
really?
Yep. Which I could,
Okay.
it could be if you're only there, say you're only there for an hour and a half or so, or you could use multiple power banks if you were there for a certain amount of time. I carry two in my camera bag when I'm hunting most of the time, just to most times I'm doing all day sits in November. I
Yep.
my hunter safety system has a deal where I can hook the power bank in and I can actually plug my phone into my safety harness and
Wow.
charge my phone, which is a game changer when I'm sitting there all day.
That is crazy, like the amount of tech that we have nowadays. But like, excuse me, like with batteries, like usually I keep about 4 or 5 batteries for my big camera because even here in Georgia, like in the like late November, December, like it can still get down into the 20s, like 30s, even high 30s. And them batteries in the cold, like you go and you cut the camera on, and it's like, all right, you leave the house and you got 100%. By the time you cut the camera on after you've been sitting all morning and the deer or something don't come by until mid-afternoon, your battery's at 40%. And it's already like draining fast as
Mhm.
soon as you start recording. So, like, I try to keep my batteries warm. Like, I have them in my
For
pocket, like
sure.
up underneath my hand warmers and stuff.
I got a funny story about a dead battery. It was opening day of gun season here. I had killed that Monday, so it would have been the following Saturday was our opening day gun, and I got behind the camera for somebody. Crack of daylight. I mean, I'll say a half hour after daylight. He's like, big buck, big buck. I'm like, I don't see it, man. He's like on the edge of the cut beans, and I look up, and there's a 165, 170 standing there. I'm like, oh yeah. So I click power on my camera, record. I zoom in on him. My battery goes 3, 2, 1, completely dead, black. I'm like, oh crap. So I'm pulling it off there. I get the other one in there. I'm like, don't shoot yet because it's at like 200 yards. Put the other battery in there, hit record, zoom in on him. I'm like, all right, take him. Battery 3, 2, 1. Black. I'm
Oh,
like, oh my god, this can't be happening to me right now, you know. And I said, I'm gonna try the first one again. You may not have very long. And I put the original one back in there. It gave me 3 minutes. I said, shoot that deer right now. And he did. He shot. It ended up being an absolute giant, and it was wild because I told him, I said, we can't do much recovery. I mean, and it started pouring snow. And I was
oh,
like, and I got him walking up. He talked in front of the deer for a second. My battery died. I'm like, well, I got something anyways, you know.
wow. Yeah.
Right.
So I'm telling you, man, people don't realize like the produced hunts and stuff, like they are cool, don't get me wrong, and I can lose almost a half a day on YouTube watching the produce hunts, but when I find somebody that self-films and self-films like really well, I think like the bow only outdoor guy does a really good job. The Rise does a really good job. Of course, Bowhunted Eye, like they're like the OG, like
For sure.
self-film, like whatever. But yeah, like if I find somebody, even if I find like a small channel and a guy that's self-filming, I'm like, okay, like if they do a really good job, like I can get into it. But you make me think about something while we were talking about this that Antonio and I were talking about a couple of weeks ago. Like, so you seeing the things where the trail cameras are being banned. You got to pay to bait, like in Tennessee and
Right.
Alabama and whatnot. Drone recovery, like some states are outlawing like drones and stuff. What do you think about just all the technology and whatnot in hunting? I know me and Antonio, we're like whatever works, whatever can help you, but obviously, again, just like anything else in the hunting community, it's divisive.
For sure. And I got two answers to that question. The first answer would be I go to Missouri every year for a week. Usually the last weekend in October, going into November, like the second week of November. And on public land in Missouri, you cannot use trail cameras, period. And the place that I hunt is 4 points on one side, and they can't shoot does during gun season. So that right there is a recipe for big bucks. And there is some absolute giants at this place. But that makes me think too, because I can't use my trail cams when I'm there to help me out any. So I have to be more of a woodsman. I
Yep.
got to read the sign. I got my put me in the right spot at the right time in a very small window that I'm having to do it. So it kind of gives you a little bit of that, feel when I first got hunting, 13 years old. We didn't have trail cameras back then
Yep.
or anything. I mean, the first ones we got to use, you had to go get the film developed out of them. You know what I mean? So
Yep.
like, I don't mind it as much, like on something like that, like trail cams outlawing that. I mean, it's cool when you do have them on there, but it gives you a little bit of excitement, like you were, when you
Yeah.
were a kid, and you shoot a 130 and there's a 200-inch deer in there, and you didn't know it was in there. I mean, that's just part of it. You should have passed on the 130. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes I think it makes sense. And the second answer I would have to that is in my state of Indiana this year, they are basically you're able to use drones for the recovery of a deer.
Hmm.
What they really, really messed up on was they changed the caliber of rifle that we can use, and they also made it where you can use those rifle calibers on public land. What's to stop somebody to use one of those drones and be like, "Hey, Billy, there's a giant in that field over there. Go get him." Or you
Hmm.
know what I mean? And then the officer is like, "Well, how are you using it to recover the deer? He didn't know, he wasn't there 10 minutes before you, and it saw you illegally, obtain intel on the buck and then go out there and shoot it." So I think there's always kind of two sides to the technology, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Like, public land, like I get it. Like, if you want to level the playing field for everybody that uses public land, like I get it. Like I'm not, gonna die on that hill.
Right.
Private land, leave me alone.
For sure. I agree. I agree, man.
Like, just leave me alone. Like,
For sure.
but I get it, the public land, the public land thing, because even the times there's an archery only place near me, and every year, the last 2 years, I've gone out there just kind of scouting, like early in the summer. I get tore up by mosquitoes, but I see like all the tracks and stuff like down there in that river bottom.
Hmm.
And there's a part of me that wants to go down there. But then going down there, I'll see like 4 or 5 like trail cameras, which I know is nothing compared to some public places where there's literally like one every 2 feet. But
Right.
and the fact that it's archery only for deer, like for turkey, you can, it's whatever. Obviously, you can shotgun whatever. But
Right.
I don't know, like part of me like is just like, okay, like I like knowing what's there. I like, trying to go out and have a pattern, but then there have been plenty of times that even on private land where you got like the pattern, you got like the, these pictures and stuff, and you go out there and there's something completely different shows up and you're just like, oh, okay. Like,
Yeah.
so I don't know.
One
It's
one of
half
the
and half.
biggest things that you need to scout on public land is people and when are they going in there? How are they going in there? I've seen some absolute mega giants killed on public, and I really only do public in some of the states that I travel to. I don't really hunt public land much here in Indiana. I hunt mostly the farms that I've obtained through permission pieces.
Mhm.
But man, I won't throw his name out there because I just don't want that for him. But there's some guys around here that shoot really, really, really big deer, and they don't tell anybody about it. Like they ain't in a record book, and they don't want nobody to know about it.
That, it's funny you say that. I was reading something. I was either reading something or I was watching something on YouTube. I can't remember. But it was basically the gist of it was like, are the state records really the state records?
Right.
Because so many guys, like you said, like they kill these giants and there's literally like no pictures, no social media, no nothing. Like they're almost like secrets. They're legal, but there's secrets. Like,
Absolutely. This guy shot a 217-inch buck, not but 5 minutes down the road from my house. We left, went to Missouri for the week, and he shot a 165 on public. So he shot a 217 and a 165 within 5 days. The same guy. I was like, you need to go buy a scratcher or something, dude. You got a horseshoe up your ass, man.
seriously, because
I mean,
most
that's
people don't see that
insane.
much see that many inches of horns in their lifetime, much less in 5 days.
Right. Well,
Golly.
but we strike gold on the public land early in the week, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, when everybody has to go back to work. I know you guys were talking about the Pennsylvania in the Sunday hunting, and some people only have that Saturday, and then some people have Saturday, Sunday, and then they got to go back to work, and
Right.
you got their whole rest of the week off. It can really pay dividends because it takes that pressure off some of those places, and you can, you go in there on a weekend and there's already 5 trucks in the parking lot, and you walk what you think is further than everybody else. There's always that one or two guys that did the same thing that you did.
Yeah.
So when they're gone and you still push a little bit deeper, it can really pay off for you.
That's when I was in a hunt club, that's where I made my money. It's like that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, even when I go on trips with like outfitters, if I can go like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like before all the riffraff come in, like on the weekends, like and it just ended up working out that way because of my job. Because like I always tell people, sports happens on the weekends.
For
So
sure.
like that
Absolutely.
was when I always like had to work. So like let me get out there, on a Tuesday, while y'all at the mill or whatever doing the,
Right.
the 10 to 12 or whatever the hell it is. Let me go ahead and get out there and get out the way before y'all come out there on the weekend. So,
Right.
but all of us can't be like Antonio, with the good government job and go on vacation and then, get out there on the weekends and still be knocking them down.
Hey, I mean, I can get your application or something. I mean, which one? You might want to stay where
Hey,
you're at.
the way y'all cutting back, no, I'm stay over here.
You might want to stay where you're at. Don't come this way.
I heard you guys talking last time. Antonio, when are you going to pull the out of state card, bud? When are you going to go check something else out?
Okay, we had this call. Okay, so I'm glad you said that. So remember, and this is how I know that when you meet another hunter, it's a different, what to say, camaraderie, because we talk hunting. So Brett invited me up to Indiana. He said, "Man, you got to come up here and hunt." I said, "Well, when?" I think I heard you say something about November earlier, right?
Yeah.
So I said, "Well, Brett, how cold is it in Indiana in November?"
It's cold enough to make the big boys out and about, buddy.
So whatever he told me, I said it don't get that cold in South Carolina.
No, I think the high that weekend or something was like, I don't know, 25 or something.
Okay. Listen, let me just go ahead and just put this out here. I lived in Wisconsin. I've lived in Connecticut. I've lived in Massachusetts. Again, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, Brett.
All right.
Anytime you want to invite me and I can find the time, I'm not worried about the temperature. Just keep me away from the clan, okay?
Hey, I'll keep you away, buddy. I'll keep you away. You come down here to Indiana and I'll be your cameraman. I'll put you
Right.
in a tree and I'll even be your cameraman,
Hey,
man.
I can film on my own. Just keep me out of Mooresville or whatever the hell like them
Yeah, yeah.
towns
Yeah, I'm
is.
far from there, buddy. Far
Okay,
from
just
there.
keep me away from the clan, and we will have a grand time. Cause I
Oh,
got the clothes for the temperature. I don't know what Antonio was talking about over there. Cause Indiana, man, y'all, like
I'm like the complete opposite though. I hate hunting when it's hot. And I know you can like I'm going to Tennessee. Last year when I went, it was like 98 degrees and I'm up in the stand and I used a saddle. I went in and hung my sticks and everything. I'm just pouring sweat. I hate that. Still going to do it because it's a passion and I want to be there to try to kill a velvet buck.
yep.
But my favorite time is I mean when I went to Wisconsin in 2020 was my first ever time really going to an outfitter. It's the only time I've ever gone to an outfitter, actually,
Mhm.
and just traveling to do some hunting
Yep.
during the COVID time period. And I went to Buffalo County, Wisconsin, and it was unbelievable. But the high for the day that I shot my buck was 17, and I never came out of the stand. I shot it at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon or something.
Yep.
But it was money. Wisconsin is money. I cannot say enough good things about Wisconsin. It's probably one of my favorite places to hunt.
Yeah, old Scotty. I think the first deer I killed in the snow because that was my whole thing. Being a Southern kid, when I first moved to Wisconsin, I was like, I want to kill a deer in the snow. And the first deer I killed, I think it was like 28 degrees or something like that,
Yeah.
and you can see the blood trail in the
Oh, I
snow and
love it,
whatnot.
man.
So yeah, so Antonio, now so let's do the math. You can hunt Georgia, you can hunt Indiana, and you can hunt South Carolina. So you got three places. Sound like to me the ball in your court.
Okay. All right.
I'm just saying.
He did invite me down to South Carolina to do some hog hunting that didn't pan out. I had something come up or something. I think it was during the turkey season and I was on one of my little turkey tours down there someplace, but I wouldn't mind it. I mean, you don't I've had such a bad mindset when it comes to southern deer hunting because I am from the Midwest. It's a whole different ball game here. And when I've been down to Kentucky and Tennessee and Georgia and stuff like that, like it doesn't hit the same for me. Like the genetics, the body. I mean, it's nothing for me to kill almost a 300-pound doe here. Like and the bucks are every bit of that on the hoof. I mean, just absolute mega giants for body wise. Then you go down to Kentucky and kill a 2-year-old and it weighs like 125 pounds. You know, I have a bad mindset of it, but I need to break that and actually come and try it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand that because I think Adam had to tell me one time that it's a completely different, I guess, agriculture up that way, what they're eating.
Yeah.
Like
So I
soil.
guess
Yes,
what
sir.
what a deer is eating in
Yep.
Iowa or Indiana is not what we eat. Well, not what they're eating here, especially with a lot of the swamp areas we have, and it's just different. And I can see, I guess, genetic wise, why your deer are bigger in that
Oh,
area.
absolutely, for sure. You have more of a sandy base, and I'm not sure how it is where you're from, but like ag wise, I can walk out my back door right here, and there's a 3,000 acre cornfield. You know, right? I mean, it's nothing for it to be that big. So when you come to playing the game with them, I find ag deer are a little bit more predictable and easier to hunt. Don't get me wrong, they'll still whoop you every day. You know what I mean? But if you throw me in a big hardwood situation, it takes a little bit longer for me to catch on because I'm just so used to hunting those ag fields.
Mm. Yeah. No, that's a good point because the excuse me, even down here, like the ag fields can mess with you, right? So you'll have like corn, you'll have like soybeans. So the problem is if you don't, what ends up happening is you'll have the ag field and you don't have access to the ag field. So you're down in the pines and the hardwoods.
Right.
And Georgia's a bait state. So if you got, corn, whether you got like a corn feeder or you sprinkle a corn pile or whatever the case is, it's less attractive because they can go across the road or down the road or whatever and hit the cornfield or hit the soybean field. So like that's where you kind of got like the catch 22. Like South Georgia has a lot of big deer because of the peanut fields. Metro Atlanta has a lot of big deer because it's metro and they basically hide in plain sight. So
For
yeah,
sure.
it's funny because the more people that I talk to that get to hunt the Midwest, it's a big difference and just being out of your element. It's the same thing with turkey hunting for me.
Oh,
I
for sure.
despise turkey hunting down here. Despise it because they come off of the limb and they don't say shit. They don't gobble. They don't do anything. And the next thing you know, they just pop out of the woods. Where you can go somewhere like Nebraska and blow that call, sound horrible, and five Miriams will come out looking around.
All right,
Like,
for sure.
that's
Uh,
why I hate it.
I tell you the best place, and I've been doing the turkey thing actually longer than I've been doing the deer thing. But my favorite state the last few years to go to is West Virginia. I feel like you could just go smack your call against a tree and you're going to get five of them to gobble. I mean, they're everywhere, and we got to go there last year, and me and Adam pulled a double on some absolute, I mean, giant long beards. 25 pounds, inch and a half hooks, 11 and a half inch beards. I feel like they were twins or came from the same brood or something, but just absolute daggers for biggest spur I've ever killed by a country. I mean, I've had some inch and a quarters out there, but this thing is a solid inch and a half long. It looks like an Osceola damn near.
I was about to say big old butterballs.
Oh,
Golly.
they're huge, and we got it all on film. We got that video on the YouTube, and they come in. At first, they couldn't see the decoy because we had a strutter out with the lay down hen, and these giant longbeards finally saw the decoy, and they come in, and we double up on them, and it's crazy because there was I think it was a doe anyway. Don't really know that time of the year. It didn't have any nubs sticking out in it, but this doe was just walking around with these turkeys, and we almost didn't kill these birds because the deer just wouldn't get out of the way. I was like, we can't shoot yet. This deer's like in between us. Finally, it came off a little bit, and these birds were already at like 15 yards. I was like, we got to take him right now, or this deer's going to really screw this hunt up.
Wow. And then you shot so with a shotgun or with a bow?
Shotgun, yeah. I've tried the bow hunting thing with turkeys. I've done it. Just not my cup of tea for some reason. I love shooting them in the face with a gun, man. It's too much fun, man. Too much fun.
You know what? It is interesting you say that. I have never during turkey season seen a turkey. Now
Oh man, we
deer
got to get
season,
you out of that.
deer season, ah, 6 or 7 of them
Yeah.
just in the way.
Yeah, always.
Yeah. They
Nope.
gobble. They come around. They come in packs. Like you get like a whole pack of hens. Like it's highly it's highly frustrating. That's why I said like Kansas, Nebraska, when it come to turkey hunting, like sign me up for that. Like send me out west. Like I'll go back to Nebraska any day of the week. Like bottom of a pasture, you know, moon pies down there, like from
Yeah.
from the cows or whatever. And like I said, as piss poor a turkey caller as I was, like you hit that thing and they're going at it.
Oh,
Like,
for sure. And I love it's if you're a turkey hunter, you're gonna know what I'm saying, but there's a difference between field birds and timber birds. And my favorite is those field birds, but I could just get on them all day long. And a timber bird sometimes will absolutely whoop me. I'll get lucky here and there,
yep.
but I start in Tennessee and work my way up. I go Tennessee, Kentucky, Indiana, Illinois, sometimes Michigan. I usually finished it in Michigan. Even in May, I shot one almost Memorial Day weekend a couple of years ago up there, and they were absolutely red hot up there. It was
Wow.
unbelievable.
And these are all public
No,
birds.
this is it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Illinois, I found Illinois hard to draw a tag in. Like when I was in Wisconsin, like Wisconsin was weird to me too because it's like, okay, your tag is only good for like this week or
Yeah, I don't
like,
like that at all.
yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
or these 2 weeks or whatever it is, like your tag was only good then. And I shot one with a shotgun there. Illinois, I couldn't draw in. It was like one of those things where it's like I crossed the border, I went to the store, and there was a line outside the door.
Oh
So
wow.
it was like, so I couldn't get it. Obviously here in Georgia, like it comes with my, my turkey record comes with my license or whatever. Nebraska I could buy over. I think Nebraska I bought when I got there. Kansas I bought a tag when I got there. Like those states. But again, just because like you said, out in the field, Kansas, out in the fields,
Oh yeah.
Nebraska, pastures, down here, hardwoods. You see them and they don't say anything, and it's just like okay, like, but
Yeah,
it is. It's a unique skill, just like anything else. It's a unique skill, and I've killed
for
one with a
sure.
bow and I've killed one with a shotgun. But sign me up for deer and hogs.
I got a
Science.
question.
Yeah.
So we were just talking about out of state licenses and tags.
Yeah.
So Brett, what do y'all normally run in Indiana for somebody out of state trying to get I guess tags and get I guess what a temporary
Well, I
license.
think it's weird for us for deer. We'll just circle that, but like there's bow and then there's gun and then there's something called a combo, which is basically two does and a buck with any weapon basically. Then or you could just buy bow or just buy gun, but with just a bow or just a gun, it's usually good for just a buck. But I think our bow tag for out of state's like 250, and the gun is 250 as well, I believe, and then the combo is like 550, which it can be pretty expensive. I heard you guys talking about that too, and I don't remember which one of you guys said it. You're like, man, 250 seems you pretty steep for a license. Man, some of those states it's even way worse than that. Like I draw Kansas next year and Iowa the year after that. You're talking, five, $600, $700, I think, for the Iowa tag. And then
Yeah.
that's insane. That's just your tag. That is not your travel, you know what I mean, or anything like that. It can be pretty expensive when you do stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the South Carolina out of state tax, the thing for me, and I get it, like you want to protect your in-state hunter. Like I totally understand that. Because if
Mhm.
not, then you'd have every goofball from coast to coast coming into your state.
For sure.
Especially on public land, right? Like, so I
Mhm.
get that. But it's the $15 in-state license and then the 250 out-of-state license.
Right.
That's the one where I'm just like, okay, come on, y'all. Because I
So,
think I think South Carolina is like by the time you do and see they're smart because you can do like a 3 day or like a 10 day or
Yep.
something like that,
yeah, yeah.
right?
There's a
Like
lot of states that have
cheaper.
that.
But the catch is if you go, say like if you do your 3 day, right? If you do your 3 day 3 times, you might as well have went ahead and bought like the full license for the
Right.
year.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how South Carolina gets me almost every year. Like the first year that I said I was gonna hunt South Carolina, I went all in. I went, got the tags, got the license, whatever. Circumstances worked out. Could not hunt. Just basically made a donation to the South Carolina DNR. Last, last year, I didn't even bother because I was just like, okay, I don't know if I'm gonna have the time. This year, I definitely should have the time. And I'm getting it itch, and it's what going back to that whole trail camera thing. Like I'm running trail cameras, I'm not seeing nothing, but August 15th is around the corner, and I'm like, I am dying to get in the woods, like
For sure.
officially. And it's really got me thinking about like, okay, let's go ahead and buy your tag. You get your doe tag, you get your buck tag, and does don't start until later in September. But just to be out in the woods like that early, like I'm just thinking about just go ahead and plucking it down and getting and doing it.
for
I'm trying to
sure.
see how much that tag was because I can't remember what those tags are running right now. 'Cause I know my father-in-law came. He got one. I don't think no. I think it was like 65, and I think that was like just for 3 days.
Yeah, like the 3 day tags ain't too bad. But like I said, if you're gonna go multiple, like the very first time I hunted in South Carolina, I hunted with an outfitter. So, like, I got the 3 day tag. It was a combo deer hog hunt, whatever. It was really cool. Really enjoyed going. Didn't kill anything, but saw some deer. Of course, I saw a lot of those, which you couldn't
Right.
shoot. Um, but enjoyed it or whatever. That time I came and hunt with Antonio, I got like another a 3 day or like kind of deal or whatever. But like looking at Texas, you can buy it over the counter, like which I love that. Like Alabama, I think you can buy over the counter. The thing with the Alabama, and that's the other thing too. I'm not sure about Indiana. I was going to ask you, like with Alabama, like I said, you can buy your license. You buy, I think it's like you buy your big game license, you get your deer tags, and then you buy a baiting license if you want to bait. Can y'all even bait in Indiana like during the season?
No, we can't do that. We have
Okay.
to have everything out. If you are running mineral or anything like that, it has to be out 30 days prior to season.
Wow,
And if they
30.
think you're doing it into the season, they will dig your soil up and test the soil.
Wow.
Yeah, they ain't playing around. They'll get you good.
The
I've known
30
people.
is wild because I know some play like I think Georgia Georgia used to be South Georgia you could bait and that was it. And then when they lifted it and the whole state could bait, but when it was just South Georgia, it was like 10 days. You got to have everything out. And they definitely wasn't going through and testing your soil and all that.
Right.
That is
Yes.
bananas. So that makes the ag just having access, like you say, to that ag or hardwoods like coming and going from the ag, like that makes that almost like that's gold, right?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. I just had a conversation on my podcast the other night. Somebody was saying, "I bet you when they cut the corn there in Indiana, you're all over it. You're ready to get in the stand." And I said, "Actually, kind of not because I don't really see that big push onto the ag until after the rut, and they're
Mm,
trying to put the weight back on. It's getting cold.
the
You may
food.
see
Yep.
50 deer in one cornfield of an evening hunt. Evening hunts are money at that time of the year."
Hmm.
But really, from early October getting into that pre-rut, I like to focus on acorns. I mean, that it can be an absolute game changer. I've had stands close to an acorn flat, and I can literally sit there and be pitch black and hear the deer chewing on the acorns because they're just mowing them down.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like a superfood to them, but I mean, when the beans start to turn, they
Yep.
leave the beans completely, and they will absolutely destroy the acorns.
Yep. It's funny because I find that again, same thing, right? If you is competition. That's why like I laugh when people get all upset about baiting because A, it's not automatic. B, I don't care what anybody says. It is just as much work as doing a food plot. Like
Well, for sure.
you just don't go out and just pour out a pile of corn and hope for the best. Like there's a strategy to it. There's thought into it. There's definitely sweat equity. If you've never tried to manage bait piles in the southeast, then you don't know what you're talking about.
I
Because
guarantee it.
there's definitely sweat equity, but it's the same thing. Like it's a food source. So if you got acorn flats and you have corn, then oh well. They're not messing with your corn pile. Like they're going
Right.
to go to the acorns. Like that
Right.
is what's going to happen. Same thing, like what I've noticed the last couple of years, like everybody, the big thing down here now is the roasted corn, roasted soybeans, roasted peanuts. Like every food or every deer mix now, everybody's pushing like the roasted, roasted.
Right.
It's good in August, it's good in September. Once soybeans are kind of like out of the picture, then the deer don't touch it. And they won't touch it until like after the season, like to your point, when they're trying to put back on pounds. Corn, apple corn, you can put that out year round as long as there's not like acorns or like competing ag, then they will hit that. But a lot of those specialty blends, like they have a shelf life of when they work. And so yeah, like it's definitely a lot more to it. I just wish people were a little more knowledgeable about like some of this stuff that they go on rants of, because like food sources are food sources.
I wish they would just leave everybody alone, period. And, I feel like social media obviously has ruined that, and everybody thinking they're entitled to some crazy opinion. Little kids shooting, a basket rack, or maybe some guy is hard on his luck and shot a spike, and that could have made that dude's whole year. You know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
like I was telling you a story about myself shooting, I basically shot a little basket rack, meant the world, dude. Felt like I shot a 200-inch deer. You know what I mean? Like it just meant that much more. People have no idea, and you get these people on there just ripping everybody. It's like, dude, just let everybody enjoy themselves.
Yep.
Like, let's go back to the basics. You think up in the Wisconsin, UP, and where the heritage is so deep, you think they were making fun of each other in the '70s when they're out there in plaid shirts, drunk in the woods shooting stuff? Who cares, man? Let them have fun.
Right.
Yeah. People trying to eat.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The
That
problem is people don't know how to mind their business. That's the
For sure.
that's the issue with today's world.
yeah,
You need
absolutely.
Totally
a
agree.
life-threatening or emergency situation, go about your way.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure. Like even like with the hunting videos that I put out, like I tell people all the time, like you gonna see a lot of those getting shot. That's just what it is. I'm
Fill in the freezer,
sorry.
boy.
Like everybody can't be Brett Morse. I'm sorry.
Oh, hey
Like,
now, hey now. Don't be picking on me.
hey man,
Man,
hey, no, that hey,
that wall is impressive.
yeah.
I mean, it's basically like I said earlier, that's where I'm at. There's guys around me that are doing much bigger and better things because of the places that they hunt, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like if I got a guy, is a buddy, I swear I can't even make this up. I bet he passed a 180 up last year, and sends me a video on the tree stand of this buck hopping the fence, chasing the doe around. I'm like, are you gonna shoot that thing? He's like, no, I'm gonna let him go one more year. I said, you got bigger balls than I do, buddy, because I'd have smoked him at 15 yards.
Yes. Like we
180, you know what I mean?
yeah, and that's the thing, right? It is literally access. Like, and I don't want to speak to public because I don't have a lot of experience on public land. But when it comes to private land, it's 100% access, man. Like if you don't have like a area that either where bucks want to be, or like the genetics, or like if you just don't have it, it is 10 times harder. Like I look at some people's trail cams even down here, and I'm just like, they might be like 2 miles down the road from me or whatever. And it's like a completely different, like if I didn't know better, you would think they were in a completely different state. They just have
Right.
access to better ground. And that's just what it is. And I mean, unless you, like I said, unless you go on public and play that game, then that's a different story. But like it's just it's all about access.
For sure. And another thing, when you're talking about access, is the access that you're taking into your property that you're hunting. I'm very big on this. I hunt a place that's 43 acres. I can come in from all sides basically. It will take me longer to get to certain sides than the other, but I play the wind on that because it's a very small piece. The
Yep.
bedding is almost directly in the middle of this piece. So I have to play it smart when I go in, or I push them all out one side, either direction that I come in. So I'm playing the wind. I'm trying to do everything I possibly can. I have an e-bike now, which is a freaking game changer, dude. This year, I seriously think it's going to be increasing my odds on this particular property by 40% because I'm going to be able to get in there as fast as I can, no scent. I'm gonna pull up to the base of the tree. I don't even care. Like I'm gonna get there as fast as possible and get up in there. And when I'm on public land a lot, I got to set my sticks and get up on my platform. I'm gonna have sticks in certain trees ready to rock where I can just boom, I'm up it and I'm ready to go within 10 minutes. I'm camera ready. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, that e-bike, I've been looking at those for a couple of years. Even on my product, I would love to have an e-bike just to get in, like you say, you zip down that trail or whatever that access, get in there. It's quiet. I mean, outside of obviously the leaves or whatever, but it's just you get in, Yeah, that's dope. I like the e-bike. So you, because I've heard you mention sticks, I've heard you mention saddle. So are you definitely more of a in the tree guy? Do you like blind hunting at all? Is it a part of your repertoire or no?
I have one, and I basically only use it for spring turkey hunting in certain situations, like those pastures and fields, like you were talking about earlier.
Hmm.
But whitetails, I'm in a tree. I have sticks, I have lightweight lock-ons, I have a saddle, I have just about anything you can think of as far as a mobile setup goes. And
Yep.
depending on where I go, is what I take with me.
Okay. Yep. That's
Which most of
interesting.
the time it's sticks in the saddle. I really love the saddle game.
Yeah. I know it's gotten really popular. I thought about it. Um, I'm okay. I'm good on it. Like I love my ground blind. I love my set ground blinds, but then I purchased a ghost blind this winter that
Those
I
are
was
sweet.
going to use for turkey hunting, but I'm definitely going to use it for deer hunting, especially early season while everything's green and it's a lot easier to blend in. Like I just really want to try like the ground, finding some trails, getting in on the trails, trying to get away from the bait as much. Like I still, no, I'm sorry. You give me a ground blind over a good corn pile, I am a pig in slop because I know something is going to come by and I'm going to put an arrow through something 15, 20 yards. But like just trying to switch it up and maximize like, the terrain, maximize, the playing field, the
For
space. You know
sure.
what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
get in place because I know people always talk about saddles, and you can just like, oh, I can get in any tree, or I can get in anywhere. Well, like, okay, if I can find a good trail on the ground, set that ghost blind up, clear out an area so I'm not making a bunch of noise, bring my camera. That's the other thing I've been tinkering with this summer is trying to find that sweet spot of filming in that thing
Hmm.
and then hunt like that.
The only thing that stood me apart on saddles over anything else at the last particular few years was my ability to be able to adapt as quickly as I could. I can't tell you how many times when I was 13, 14, 15 years old hunting with my dad, and it was just like we had blinders on. We went to the same stand all the time. We hunted the same stand almost a whole year and stuff. It was like, well, this is the one I got set for you, bud, kind of deal. It's like, well,
Yep.
I'm seeing all the deer over in that corner of that field. Can I go hunt over there? And it's like now I put those puzzle pieces together, and it's like I'm going where I think everything's going to play out. Or it's really crazy. I got into journaling my hunts, I don't know, 5 years ago or so, and I write every particular thing down in that hunt: barometric pressure, cloud cover, what I saw, where I was at, everything, wind direction, the whole 9 yards. And I got to looking at some of this old stuff that I'd written down, and the same things were happening on that particular property
Mm.
year after year. It was just like a textbook how it was going to happen and how it was going to play out. And it was, I mean, unbelievable. Like this one particular property, Halloween was like the kickoff. Like
Mm.
Halloween's one of my favorite days to hunt. And like I was always seeing big deer. I was always seeing big deer in a particular area. Well, I got up one day, we're talking about the cell cam notifications and stuff, and I had a pretty good buck at, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning chasing some does. And I looked over and started looking at barometric pressure, and we had a cold front that came in. And I text my boss. I said, "I'll see you tomorrow. I'm going hunting." He goes, "See you tomorrow," because he's a hunter too, so he gets it. And I saw one of the biggest deer I've ever seen on hoof when I was hunting. He came pushing a doe up out of a creek bed, and I was in that place that I wanted to be, where I had seen everything go down before. I'd killed a giant, 2 years before that, and it was just like for the next 5 days, that particular intersection of bedding, ag, and water.
Mhm.
It was an incredible combination, and I saw. I mean, just I could sit there. Most of the movement that I saw in the rut was from like 11 to 3. I shot this one behind me here a couple years ago at 11:30 in the afternoon. One of those deals, like you said, playing on your phone. I look up, he's going into the bedding. I'm like, well, shit, I missed my opportunity there. He's at 50 yards ish, and I see him go through the bedding, and I said, I'm gonna throw a Hail Mary today. I snort wheezed him, Well, he disappeared. And I'm like, well, that didn't work. That sucks. I'm getting my tail whipped here. I look up and he had circled all the way downwind and he
Mhm.
was working his way back towards me. We got to the edge of the bedding and there was a doe bedded there and he didn't know that she was there and she didn't know he was there coming. And
Mhm.
they scared each other. And when they did that, I ranged him and it was 47 yards. And I pulled back and I let it eat, bud, and I smoked him. He did the big mule kick. He didn't run 15, 20 yards, turned around, went straight on his back, and I was freaking out in the tree. Like it just played out. And it was funny because it was my wife's birthday. This is Antonio get a laugh out of this since he knows my wife a little bit. I call her and I'm not a big phone conversation kind of guy. I'm a texter.
Yep.
She goes, "Oh, you're calling to wish me a happy birthday." I'm like, "Big buck down, baby." I'll never get to live that one down. Oh, it's your birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh yeah, happy birthday. Oh, by the way, I just shot this big one.
But it's a comic relief for sure.
That that is hilarious. It's funny because I was watching a video last year and Michael Waddell basically was just like the snort wheeze is like the most underutilized like tactic. And I often wonder a lot of times things that work in the Midwest, do they work here? Like, you see like
Right.
all the Midwest videos and you guys like y'all are banging the horns and
Not
rattling.
me, not me. I ain't doing that.
It's just like, oh, he got them coming to the horns and all this stuff. And like in these hardwoods, at least where I hunt, I have not had a deer come to like horns, fake or otherwise. Now, the grunt call, now I've grunted in a couple and I've grunted a couple. I haven't grunted in any to where I could get them to kill them, but I definitely grunted them in and seen them and they'll grunt back or they'll like be interested. And I think it's
Yeah.
kind of like a sight, like okay, I hear it, but I don't see them. And since I don't see them, I'm not coming at it. And our terrain doesn't lend itself to decoys. Because you're liable to more scare a deer in those thick woods. But that snort wheeze is basically like saying, okay, you want to fight?
Yeah,
Like that's
basically.
basically what, from what I understand, that's what it is. And it's like if you get a deer close enough to where you can snort wheeze at them, and they can actually hear it, whether they see it or not, they are coming.
Oh, for sure. And especially if it's a mature buck. Um, the one I almost shot, I shot him. It didn't kill him, which makes me absolutely sick. He was probably almost a 180. I snort wheezed him and he left two does. He was chasing two does. I got this all on video, by the way. I snort wheeze. He kind of chases them off. I turned the camera off, hung my bow back up. I no longer than hung my bow back up and look up, and he went from 100 yards to 40 yards before I could get my bow in my hand. He was on an absolute dead sprint towards me, and I butchered. I tried to shoot him at 40 yards. I'll never make this shot ever again. He was quartering to me, not hard, but just an easy quartering to. And I put it where I thought I needed it, and I don't know what happened, but I shot a little far back, and I shot him basically through that fat in his like hind legs,
Hmm.
and I had him on camera the week after that, and I was thankful that he was able to survive. But talk about a gut punch, buddy! Talk about just making yourself sick.
All of these hunts, they're on your Blue River bow hunting channel on YouTube.
Yep, I have a podcast playlist, I have turkey hunt playlist, and then I have a whitetail playlist.
Okay. Make sure y'all go check that out because I know the next couple of days, I know where I will be spending
I
a,
appreciate that,
a
man.
bulk of my YouTube time because I'm always looking for hunting content. A, for ideas. B, just to kind of see what other people are doing, like as far as like the filming wise. So, and then I will also admit, Antonio, I don't know if you're like this, but like when I turn on a YouTube video or even like the Carbon TV, My Outdoor TV, whichever one, and I turn it on and I see a gun, I'm automatically out.
All
Like,
right.
and
Yeah.
nothing against gun. Hey, nothing against rifle. Like, do it. Like, I've never picked up a rifle. Obviously, when I goose hunt in when I was in Wisconsin, I go down to Illinois and goose hunt. turkeys or whatever. I know Antonio has killed some monster freaking hogs and deer, monster deer by South Carolina size. Let me just preface that, Brett, because I know,
Right. No, no, I get it. Me and him have had that discussion
no,
before.
we get excited about 110s and 115s down here. You get a 120 and you are dancing, you're doing a jig, Jack. But like and I laugh at myself because again, like do it however you want. Like whatever, spear, crossbow, rifle, machete, whatever the hell, do it. But it's like when
Right.
I look, when I turn on it, I look at a video and I'm like, okay, oh, okay, the scenery is good. All right, it's cool. I see an orange vest and I'm kind of like, oh hell. And then like when I actually see the rifle, I'm just like, all right. Like,
You'll have to give me some feedback on that. I always love people telling me if they enjoyed it, with things that I could do differently. I'm always constantly trying to make content more relatable to the people.
yeah.
That's the whole game of it, is being a relatable person, being somebody that you want to watch. I don't want to get on there and watch some dude acting like he's the baddest mother to ever walk this planet. You know what I mean? Like you want to be relatable to them.
So let me ask you this. Antonio, did you see this? I meant to talk about this last week when we was recording. Um, I remember his name. I don't remember. Oh, I remember the show because the first time I heard the show, I thought it was the wrestler.
You talking
Um,
about Matt Jennings?
yes.
Oh, I got stories on this one, but
Okay. So,
go
Antonio,
ahead,
did
go
you see
ahead.
this?
No, I didn't see it.
Okay, so Matt Jennings, he has this show called, or had this show called The Game.
Right.
And like I said, for me, being a huge wrestling fan, when I hear the game, I'm just like, oh, when did Triple H start hunting? Like, like I did. So, so he's out there and he's doing this thing. Like I watched some of his videos. Honestly, I had never heard of him until all of this went down. Like, so I didn't even know he was out there. Basically, he killed a deer, and Brett, make sure I don't mess this up. He killed a deer in Kansas, didn't have a tag, or was in the wrong unit for what he had a tag for. Because Kansas is one of those states. It's like if your tag is like C, that you can only hunt in C. I
Right.
think his tag was whatever. He hunted in the other thing, took it back to Oklahoma, claimed he shot it in Oklahoma. They basically busted him. I don't know how they got it or whatever, but probably because you're a show host
All
and your
right.
show was, from what I understand, fairly popular. Just looking at his YouTube, looking
Mhm.
at Carbon or whatever. He was sponsored by Bear Archery, which was the first bow I ever had.
Nice.
Um, and so yeah, he got caught, lost his privilege to hunt in Kansas. Like he's banned from hunting in Kansas forever. And what was the last thing?
It's
Oh, I
like
think it was like
eight different.
$25,000 worth of fines.
Yeah, and he's banned in like 8 other states too.
Right, because the way it works, and
It's
I
a
didn't
lot.
even realize this, if you're banned in Kansas, you might be banned in state A, B, C, D, E, and F because it carries over. Like I'm not sure what states are like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works either.
But the thing about this dude that is so funny, like going back to your point, I promise I will get to the point.
You're
Going
fine.
back to your point about being relatable, like he was a guy, he had like the face paint, and there were like stories like he would be at trade shows like in full face paint, like almost like one of the road warriors. Like when he was hunting, he would have his face paint on. He'd be like in, as they say in wrestling, full gimmick at like trade shows, talking to people or whatever. But yeah, so he basically went through all that, and now like his show done, sponsorships done, like it's basically over. And I was going, Brett, I wanted your take on it, but Antonio, I didn't know if you had heard about this dude.
Nah, I never seen this fella.
Well, the thing is, his sponsorship through ScentLock. ScentLock is owned by a company called Nexus. So it's ScentLock, Scent Blocker,
Mhm.
Hardcore Waterfowl. There's a whole umbrella company of those companies. Well, I'm in that whole deal with Scent Blocker. I produce content for them and an ambassador for them, and he's in a lot of our group chats and stuff on there. And the dude just, I mean, not that he might be a really good dude deep or whatever the case was. But he always was playing that card of I'm the badass kind of thing. Like, and we end up having some mutual friends, and I was going back and forth with a mutual friend of his, and he told me that Matt would spend over $100,000 a year in outfitters. Why wouldn't you just go buy some land? If you're spending that much money on an
About some
outfitter, I'm
land
gonna
for
buy a
100,000.
farm.
What do you do that you can spend 100
I
grand?
have no idea. And he posted like this YouTube video in our group chat one night, and nobody would respond to him. So I was like, I'm gonna be a smart ass tonight, boys. And he put this video on there of him shooting a buck with his bow at 125 yards.
I didn't watch that video, but I saw the thing for it.
The thumbnail.
Yeah, thumbnail. Thank you.
And I
Yes.
was like, dude, you have to have a wheelbarrow for the set of nuts that you have to have on you to try to shoot a deer at 125 yards with. I find it, I mean, just like borderline reckless. Like, why would you try to shoot a deer at 125 yards?
Not
Some
even
people can't even shoot.
borderline. It's
Right?
reckless.
It's reckless, but he probably didn't care because he spent $100,000 in an outfitter. I am not. That is insane to me to spend that much money on an outfitter because he wanted to keep up with the Joneses. He had all these high profile sponsors to make happy. You know what I mean? And that's not even producing content to me. That is forcing content upon people.
Right. Right.
Listen, you ain't rifle hunting at 125 yards.
Right. I mean, that's insane.
And like honestly, like you don't want to pile on a dude. Like I see a lot of people just piling on him, and I think that's a whole nother thing that I think is just wrong with society. Like, us as content creators, like especially even on the level that I'm on, like I don't think I'm anything special or big or whatever, but just content creators in general, it seems to be like this backlash of just like, oh, you a celebrity, da 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 da. Oh, you the YouTuber, da 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 da.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, we do it. We do it because we like it. Some of us are fortunate enough to have sponsors and make money or whatever. But at the end of the day, you do it because you like it. Like it goes back to what Antonio said. Like find something else better to do. Find you somebody else to play with. Like why like why is there like this backlash is just like, oh, whenever one of those guys, like especially the big guys, and which again, I had never heard of them. So it makes me not saying that I'm anything special, but it just makes me wonder like how popular was this dude? Because like I'm on YouTube all the time and I
Right.
never heard of this dude.
So I had never heard of him until having some interactions with him on social through those private group chats for the stuff we had going on. But man, it just threw me for a loop when somebody sent that to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so fitting because he had this aura about him that just like, and I don't mean to be vulgar, but it was really douchey. It was really, really douchey.
Hey,
I've
it is
read
what it
that.
is.
Yeah, I've read that multiple times too. Because that was another one of those things. It's like, okay, when you see it and you like, okay, what happened? Because it always starts with it's like, you know, the tabloid whatever. It's just like celebrity hunter banned for life, and I'm like, okay,
Right.
who is the celebrity hunter? And like I go and it's like Matt Jennings is like, okay, I've never heard of this dude. And I start reading, whatever, and I read all the offenses and everything he's convicted for or anything he plead to or whatever.
Right.
And then it's just like, okay, now I go down the rabbit hole of like watching his videos, watching his stuff, and then like seeing like other people, other podcasts talking about it and just reading the comments. Like it's just like,
He
oh,
gets roasted.
it's so good, and these celebrity hunters, he got what he deserved, and they ruining hunting and blah 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 blah. And it's just
Man,
like,
you make me look
golly.
this dude up.
You said what?
You make me look this guy up.
I'm telling you, it literally like last week I went down like a 2-day rabbit hole, like watching his videos, and then now like he had good engagement before on his stuff. But now everybody's just like, is this the deer you poach? It serves you right, you son of a
Yeah.
bitch. Like it's
But I think it also comes down to another point, which maybe a lot of the people that don't do it don't understand. Um, I don't know about you, but on my particular content, podcast and YouTube, I do not pay for anything to get boosted or anything of that caliber. I want natural engagement and to
Yeah.
grow naturally. Some of these guys are not the same, not from the same breed, but they pay millions of dollars and thousands of dollars to get this stuff out there for people to see. It's like just like you guys. I've never heard of the guy, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
dude paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for his content to be seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, who? Why would you even do it? Is it that big of a dick measuring contest that you have to pay in order for your face to be seen? I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah. No, I don't have the like obviously I can't speak for Antonio, but I don't know if you ever seen Antonio's house, by the way, Brett. It's
I haven't.
16,000 square foot. He's right there by the mayor. So if you look at his face, that's one of our inside jokes. I always give him shit about his house. But like
Hey, hey, you deer, get out of here. Get out of my yard.
see, on a golf course, by the way. So yeah.
Hey, that's good.
Um,
Good for him though. I'm glad you got you a
you
nice
know what I'm
place. You know what I
saying?
mean? I'm
Like,
happy for you, bud.
yeah, like it's golf clubs in the back. I don't know when the last time you went golfing, but the point that I'm making is like it's funny because me and Antonio had this conversation the other day, and it's like I know there's services where you can, advertise and try to get like more engagement and stuff. And no, I don't have the millions of dollars to do it or whatever to
Right.
go through all that. Like, no, that's ridiculous. But there's there are times where I'm just like, God damn, man, like we do such a good job and we
For
have
sure.
such good content. And you make these podcasts and you make these hunting videos or these contents and you go, and it's 55 people or it's
Right.
36 people. And I'm just like, and then you look at dudes like that, and it to your point, it makes me wonder. It's like, okay, like, are these dudes really getting these 15 and 20,000 views on these videos, or what are they doing? Like, is it a level playing field?
No, it's not a level. Like it's funny. I worked the ATA show last year for Nexus and helped set up booth and basically had free range to go do whatever else I wanted to do in between moving stuff and breaking the stuff down and everything.
Mhm.
And I come back to our booth one day and there was a two guys there doing some kind of podcast live in the booth or whatever. And I looked over to somebody running it and I said, "Who are these guys? I've never even heard of this." "Well, we have a big contract with them, blah, 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 blah." I looked it up. They had like 10 subscribers on YouTube. And the same thing. They had like, 20 to 30 views on the. I'm like, you pay these guys to podcast? They've only been doing it for 6 episodes.
Right.
Like, help me out. I'm over 100 here. What's going on? Spread the wealth, baby. Spread the
Right.
wealth.
Hey, oh my God, it's so disheartening because, and I'm sure you can relate, you put your
For
all
sure.
into it, like you're not half-assing it, you got a sweet setup and, you got, your background, you invest in the equipment and whatnot, and it's like you take the time to edit and put this stuff together,
Right.
and then the payoff is like 35 views, and it's just like, okay, what the hell? Like, what
I
are
mean,
you people?
I understand that people listen to podcasts more, which I've kind of already noticed that obviously in our podcast when I put the YouTube version out,
Mhm,
and it may be kind of what you're talking about, 35 to 50,
mhm.
video wise, but audio wise, people can't see exactly how many, what you're dealing with. And ours is from, like I was telling you, making that jump to a little bit more of a popular guest or a high profile guest.
Yeah,
Those numbers have almost doubled. I
yeah,
mean, and it's all because of popularity. Oh, I saw him he was on his pod. I'm gonna listen to it because I like listening to him. I
right.
mean, I had a guy on named Cody Hoon. He's from Public Land Whitetails from Iowa, big public land guy out there.
Mhm.
And I did a or a podcast with him, and my numbers were like triple. And I'm
Yeah,
like, why is this triple compared to, I know a conversation in the past has been better,
yeah,
and it was all because he put it out there, he had a big like Facebook page, Public Land Whitetails, with like 17,000 people. When he puts it on there, they're clicking the Spotify link at work or something and listening to it.
Yep.
And it just like networking with those people. And then maybe the guy liked the conversation. Well, I like listening to Brett. I'll listen again next week. And
Right.
it's just like a
That
snowball
return.
effect. And it's been pretty good here lately. I can't complain.
Yep. No, that's dope, man. That's dope. Like we all trying to, get to the same place
For
and
sure.
just, enjoy. Number one, I think what is lost on a lot of people's like we enjoy doing this. Like who else like would want to sit down like at 7, 8 o'clock on in the middle of the week once worked a full day or whatever just to sit here and just talk or whatever. Like it's because we enjoy doing it. So
Absolutely. Me and Antonio were texting about it earlier, trying to find, especially in the middle of the summer, right? Bow hunting whitetails. That's a tough time to navigate. You're off the turkeys, you're in between whitetails. It's hard to find that content to keep it going. You know what I
yeah,
mean? There's been times where we're 2 or 3 episodes ahead, and I'm like, hey, dude, let's take a week or two off. Let's regroup. Let's find some guests. Let's plan the next month out ahead. Let's really buckle down and find some people that we think people want to listen to. Now everybody's gearing up for whitetails, right? It's getting hot. Everybody's consuming the content.
yep,
It's that time of the window where people are. You may start getting more interactions on your podcast because people are wanting to hear about it. They're at work jonesing to get in the stand. You know what I mean? And it's just that time of the year to really make your content count. If you're like me, I'm really on the bow hunting whitetail side of things. I'm really trying to buckle down and get prepared to what to put out for the next several months. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. And then that's the other thing too, like, right? Like once hunting season starts, then that's a whole nother
Oh,
ball.
that's even harder to put podcasts together then
Yeah.
because I'm hunting.
Right, you because
Look,
it's
you
like I'm
trying to
sitting
hunt?
here and I'm thinking now like me and Antonio going back and forth like trying to look at guests that we got coming up because I know when September comes it's just like okay I got to figure out like our recording schedule like what's our recording schedule going to look like and can we get 2 or 3 weeks ahead but yeah that's the whole
Hey, anytime
that's
you
the
need it,
podcast game.
anytime you got a gap in there and you want somebody to hop on, I'll hop on. I can give you live updates from what I've got for the last, whatever, since I said journal my hunts. I can give you very specific details.
That, you know what? And I like that. And that brings me to another question that I was going to ask you about journaling your hunts. Like, so I've started doing that, but I do it on my phone.
Me
Like I
too. I
have,
do.
okay.
I have
That's
an
what I
app
was
on my
going to
phone.
ask you.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you do it like the traditional way? Because like a
It
couple
would
of
be
years
fun though.
ago, I bought like this, great leather bound like paper book and I was going to write everything down. And then I did it for, I don't know, maybe like 2 months. And then I look back at the end of the season and I was just like, okay, I only did it for a couple of months. But on my phone, like every time I go, I put sunrise, sunset, what kind of hunt it was, like the barometric pressure. That's a good one. I didn't
For
realize,
sure.
I look at that, but I don't keep record of that. Like I usually keep record of like temps, definitely wind direction, what spot I hunted,
Mhm.
like that. So I was gonna ask you, did you do it like on your phone or did you do
Yeah.
like a
I wouldn't mind trying to do the same thing, but I would probably be in the same boat you are. I get up there and forget it's even in my backpack or, something going on. I don't want to move a whole bunch or whatever. And it's easier to be on my phone, right?
yeah, yeah.
Hey, I got a question. So,
Yeah.
Brett, when you're documenting all that, I
Mhm.
was doing that for a while, and especially when I was in the hunt club. So I would document. There was a club stand, my primary one, and my primary two. Did you did you find yourself second guessing what area you wanted to hunt in?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And a big reason I second guess myself is those freaking trail cams we've been talking about. It's like,
Mhm.
man, I really think that this spot in particular of an evening, I got all the right conditions. The wind's not going to screw me, blah, blah, blah. I go in there and then they're on the total opposite side coming in from a direction I didn't think they would come in from. I mean, it's like clockwork, but every once in a while you strike gold and get lucky.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of goes back to our whole technology thing, right? Like we got our journals, we got our trail cams, all these different things. Like you can make this as easy or as hard as you want to do it, but
For sure.
also doing that, it does make you second guess yourself. There is no worse feeling in the world
Right.
than playing the mental game the night before of like, okay, it's in the east, northeast wind. I have three east, northeast spots that I can go. Which one do I feel confident about? You pick one. I know, at least for me, you pick one at like 7 p.m. You're like coming out from your evening hunt. You're like, all right, I'm gonna hunt this one in the morning. Then about midnight, I'm sitting there watching somebody on YouTube, and then I'm like, maybe I'll go to this other one. And then the trail cam picture comes through at 3 a.m. and you're like, okay, well, dang, if they're there now, does that mean I'm going to blow them out when I go sit it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's
Yeah,
that mental gymnastics, and not to mention when you're sitting in the stand that you finally made a decision on, and then at the other stand, you see that's the spot that's on
Yeah.
fire.
That camera
Like,
go off.
yeah. I got a question for you guys since you're blind guys. When you go in and scout a property, what are you scouting for, and why is it that you're putting your blinds in particular locations?
go ahead, Antonio.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you why. So with my blinds, what I would do, I would definitely I used to put mine like in a area where it's like a batch of trees and try to blend in. So what I would do, I would put my blind probably no more than this is no joke, maybe 30 yards off the road. And then what I would do, I would find a trail where the deer were actually coming in at, and I would focus my shooting lanes out towards that trail and put that feeder kind of almost center to where I think they're going to come in at.
Hmm.
So what I found out with that, I would see deer coming from the left, come from the right. I would see them walk in on that trail, come in towards the trail. But my thought process was being not too far from that road, which actually, and that was a theory that got debunked now I think about it, because Kimberly was bow hunting one morning thinking that deer really not going to come across that road because in the morning I would hear other club members coming down. So you think when cars coming, deer aren't going to come. Sure as crap. There was a deer across that road. He had to cross the road, and he walked right past the blind. So I said, well, you know what? Maybe just put the damn blind somewhere and stop thinking so hard.
All
Honestly.
right.
Yeah,
What about you?
mine. So initially, I was just like, oh, this looks like a good spot. I'm going to put a feeder here and I'll put a blind 20 yards here. Like that was it. Literally that there was like no thought to it. Of course, as you do this more and spend more time in the woods, like last year, it was so funny. Though so like at the end of 23, I would usually at the end of every year I go take a walk. I take multiple walks in the woods during the winter because everything's open, you can see everything or whatever. I'm
Absolutely.
walking around at a part of my property that I hadn't even touched, and I noticed a scrape and I noticed a trail. And I was just like, okay, I can't get in here with any trees because it's a lot of scrub pines and like scrub trees or whatever. So like, how can I get in here? And I looked at where it's like, okay, 15, 20, because then, Antonio said like 30. I like all my stuff snug. Like 20, 15, 20. Like that's my sweet spot as far as like setting a blind up. And
Hmm.
I said, there's a trail, there's a scrape. I'm not going to ruin it. I'm not going to put a feeder. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to set this blind right here. This is a trail. This is where they want to be. I hunted it 20, so that was the end of 23. Hunted it, first time last season. I am notoriously impatient. I hunted it. I didn't see anything. I said, fudge it. I put some apple corn down. Sure enough, they started coming in off of that trail, and I think I killed two deer off of that spot last year. So now I'm more of the mindset of where's the trail or where's the sign? How far back I can get? Like, can I get back 15, 20 yards without blowing it? And then the wind direction is the last thing. Like, I don't go in saying, like, okay, this is the east wind. Where can I put this blind? It's like, here's the trail. Here's a good place to put this blind. Now, what's the wind direction? Okay, I can only hunt it on this west wind or whatever like that. So that
Gotcha.
That's kind of how I'd look at it. And then with this year with the ghost blind, it's going to be the same theory. It's just like, okay, where's the sign, whether it's, a trail, a worn trail, scrapes or whatever, how far I can get off of it. And then I sit there, with my compass and then try to figure out, okay, I know marking on my Onyx, I got this spot, but I can only hunt it when this is the wind for it. So,
Mhm. That's cool. I mean, it's cool to see the different side of things. Obviously, with you guys being in a whole nother part of the country and the deer hunting being a lot different than where I'm at. Like when I go in, I, same thing. I like to do it after season a lot of the times when there's no leaves on the trees.
yep.
You know, Snow's on the ground. I can see where trails are being made and stuff like that. And a lot of the times when I go in, if I'm just hanging like preset lock-ons, I may be thinking end of October, early November. I may not even be thinking, well, I can get on them right now because they're in the acorns. I'm already thinking long term, like,
Yep.
how is this going to play out for me 3, 4 months from now?
Yep.
And it's wild. Just like the other day, I got two cousins of mine. They're on my team and they're starting to get into the filming thing. So I said, they got a new property. I said, let me go with you. Let me film your journey on this new property, and then I'll help you out. Any questions you got once we get there. We start walking around. I found a bunch of beds. There's like irrigation systems in the field that lead into some of these woods and stuff. And I start pointing beds out, and it was funny because he's like, nobody's hunted this for a long time. The landowner said. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're walking around, and I look up and I said, you see anything around here? And they're like, no, man, but our camera's right there. We got a couple. I mean, they got two pictures of a couple giants in there. So we're trying to lay it out. I said, look up in that tree right there. There was a stand, and it looked like it was probably from like the late 80s, early 90s. I said, what's that tell you, boys? And they're like, I don't know. I said, that's a good place to
That's
sit right
where,
there.
right,
I said, put a stand right by that thing.
right.
There's history. Somebody knew what they were doing, even if it was in the 80s or 90s. Somebody knew how to hunt the layout of that land.
Right. That was your intel right there. And that's funny because like you said, earlier, like you started, when like you were 13 or whatever, like I was 38, like when I first picked up a bow and just actually got into like hunting. So like 10
Right.
years in now, like I think this will be like my 10th or 11th season. I look at things completely differently than I did in, that short period of time from when I started. Like, I mean, like you said, like just reading sign trails, like scrapes and whatnot. Like I think last year was the first time I really understood topography. Like there's a place where I hunt and like I went in the spring and I saw this trail and I saw like a bunch of rubs or no, I'm sorry, not rubs, scrapes. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna set up here. So same thing. I set my blind 20 yards off, put in a gravity feeder or whatever,
Hmm.
and they run that trail. They come back and forth. They're just like, oh, somebody was nice enough to put a feeder here. Great. So I'm like, I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, why is this spot so hot? Why is this spot so hot? So when I finally killed in that spot and I had to go recover the deer, the topography, like it's basically a hill. The hill drops off damn near like 75, 100 feet. Like, so
Hmm.
that's where they were bedded and they were coming up that hill
Yep.
to run that trail and to feed. And it just so happens that I put a feeder there. So they were coming there to feed. But that break in the topography is just like, so now I'm looking at like topography lines. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
how far off? Like where's the steepest point? Like that,
That's how I've learned to hunt these, like I had mentioned earlier, thermal hubs where you have multiple ridges that come down to a consensual bottom somewhere, and the deer will bed on the points, either going up or going down, and they're going off thermals. So in the morning time, your thermals are dropping,
Hmm.
and some of that time it's hard to hunt those hubs because how steep it is. The wind blows it, and you think it's blowing way over there, and it's actually just doing like a whirlwind, like a tumbler of your dryer right back into where you don't want it to go.
Right.
And hunting, figuring it out, and hunting the evening sometimes when your thermals are actually rising, and catching some of those deer coming from a bottom up the ridge and into those saddles of the ridges and stuff. It can be. I've learned a lot just in the last couple of years on trying to read those topo maps because of the some of the places that I go of these public land is a lot more elevation changes than here I have a home. I mean, it's completely flat where I am. There's a little bit of elevation change, but nothing like Missouri when I go over there. Definitely when I hunt East Tennessee, those mountains will straight whoop me over there.
Yeah, yeah. That and it is though. It's just all about putting the pieces together. Like you hear people like they start using like all these terms, and I'm not gonna lie, like, and I wonder if other people feel like there's two that haven't hunted a lot. Like you start hearing these terms, and they can be intimidating at first. Like you hear like thermal hub, and it's like, okay, what is a thermal hub? And like, all right,
Right.
now I gotta like worry about is my thermal hub good? Like, are my thermals like it's just like one more thing, but then it's like once you understand it, then you're just like, oh, like I said, that's how it was last year.
Yeah,
Like
you just got to
with
put the puzzle pieces
yeah,
together.
it's like putting exactly. It's like putting the puzzle pieces together because it's just like, all right, I didn't realize that there was like a 75 like foot or whatever it was drop off in the ridge. Because like I'm following blood, and I'm just like, okay, we're going downhill, and in the back of my mind, I'm like, am I gonna be able to drag this big ass doe? Because she was pretty big, and I was just like, am I gonna be able to drag this big ass doe back up the hill? Like that's the thing I'm thinking about. And I keep
Right.
going down and keep going down, and then you finally get to the bottom, and she's piled up right there, and I'm just like, And then I went down there in the spring, and I'm just like, And part of me is like, how can I get even closer, like
Hmm.
down that hill? Because I also think once you have a blind in a place like 2 or 3 years, like they get hip to it. And obviously, it don't take them that long to get hip to it. But it to me, and I could be wrong, but it's just almost like diminishing returns, like every year. You know what I mean? So like
Right.
now it's just like, okay, what part can I move? Can I move like 15 feet? Can I move like 100 yards and make a difference? And I've also screwed myself. Like I had a really good hot spot that I killed like 1 year, 2 year. Then the third year is just like, all right, let me move over here. And then you don't see nothing. And then you go back and it's just like, well, why did you leave? So,
Well, going back to what Antonio said earlier about the road, you would be surprised of some of the big buck sign that I've seen in states not far off the road. Right, there's a parking lot where everybody's going, and they know that the people that are going there, I wouldn't say they know that they're there after them, but they don't like the pressure of it. I've seen buck beds basically on ridges overlooking the parking lots in these places. Like I am not joking you. Like one of my buddies, Jason Burcham, who's a part of Blue River Bow Hunting, I think it's 3 or 4 years ago now. He said he went up this big ridge in this Kentucky property that we hunt. He was wanting to go way deep in there. We got turned around, and he had actually made a big loop back towards the road. And it was a pretty good incline in elevation, and he just set up off that thing. He shot like one of his biggest deer ever on state property in Kentucky, 60 yards off the road. He said he watched a little red Miata drive by before he shot it. Just that there's not pressure on those places, and they feel comfortable being that close to the road visually to be able to see the road, people coming, and have basically a back exit to be able to get out of there without, running into somebody else.
that's funny that you say that because everything I ever hear about public land, go further, go deeper than everybody else. Like,
It's
that's
crazy.
interesting. That's interesting.
I tell you, the last club I was in, I set up right not too far off the road. I didn't have a choice because getting in that hunt club so late, I had nowhere else to go. So I found that one area and we set up, and a couple guys was like, "Yeah, it might be kind of tough, shooting over here." I'm like, "Man, I killed two doe off that little area where they said I wasn't gonna kill anything from. If the doe gonna eat, they're gonna eat."
Right.
Oh, for
you
sure.
know. And but you said Adam, and I didn't realize when I sat up there, it was a drop down. So when I went to get that first doe out of there, man, I'm about to kill myself trying to get that doe up that hill.
Yeah, it'll wear you out, man.
Was that was the primary one?
That was well, no, this was the second club I was in.
Okay.
The one I was the one that got shut down last year, year
Okay,
before
right,
last.
right when you was in the middle of it. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you see that when I was literally like when you came in the club on that end, I was like right off the road right there.
Yeah.
It just I had no choice because there was so many people, and that club was maybe half of the size of the one I was in. So I was coming in late. I had nowhere else to go. I had to find something.
Yeah. Cause
You
even
know.
your old primary one, you could basically drive up to your stand, like
Yeah.
and park. Like it was just road that came in. And I keep saying I need to do like more because I got a one of my trails on my property is a like a you could tell it was some kind of like either logging trail or something. And I keep saying that I'm gonna find it, trying to find a way to just set off like off that road and just start like trying to like pick, deer off. But I also feel like a lot of those trails lend themselves, those like long trails, they lend themselves more to rifle hunting than they do to bow hunting, just because you can set up a stand and then just glass like that a trail and then pick them off 100 yards when they're down or whatever. So,
Yeah.
But you know what? Because you've been in that primary one. So remember that little parking area in the back? Well, it turned into a parking area.
yeah.
Because what I used to do, I would park out on the road and I would walk in. But
Hmm.
when Kimberly would go, I had to drive in, let her off at the stand, and then I would go park in the circle.
Oh my God.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do sometimes, but
But see, the people say, "Well, that's crazy. She ain't gonna kill nothing." She killed the biggest deer out of all of us.
that's awesome. And I hear stuff like that all the time too. My podcast co-host from in Tennessee, where we go down there, the deer are so used to a working farm and him being on a side by side or a four wheeler or whatever. He literally sends me pictures all the time because him and his girls go put the corn out and all that stuff. They literally hear the side by side coming and they come
Mhm.
running up in there like they're gonna get like it's a petting zoo or something. It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I'm telling you, that buck had to be like, what is this big red explorer doing over here?
That's
So,
awesome, man.
and I mean, that's enough. Just another theory. It shows you right there. It's just like what you say you're supposed to do doesn't always work.
No,
Right.
it does not.
Right. You debunked a lot of theories when you was out there. Like I always tell, the biggest one down here is, bucks, I'm sorry, big bucks don't come to feeders. And like that's always like the big one. And I think what was it, two or one? And I know you had a really good one that you killed Bo at your feeder. And I think it was two though, right?
I've killed one, two. I killed three bucks at the feeder.
Yeah. Like
Was it was
Mhm.
it a particular time? Was it like an odd time that they hit the feeder compared to any of the other deer?
Nah, they just
Just
came
came
in.
in to eat.
And you know what? This one I learned about. You guys, you talking about the weeds earlier. So I did a dope bleat one time, thinking that I was like, this BS ain't gonna work. And that freaking buck, he walked away. I did it. He stopped, turned around, and came right back.
Yeah. Vocalization is something that it's only really been the last couple of years that I've even really had the guts to try it.
mhm.
Like we were talking about rattling and stuff like that. There's a very small time frame that I even consider doing it, and I may only do it like twice for the entire season. And
Mhm.
I've rattled in nothing big. I've rattled in little bucks and stuff like that, but that snort wheeze was an absolute game changer because they were mature bucks. And when I did that, it literally sent them into a rage. They were ready to fight. I mean, hair standing up on the back of their neck, everything. It's wild to watch that work. And another one that you don't really hear of that I got to hear 2 years ago was a buck roar. Dude, it was the
Mhm.
wildest thing I've ever heard. Some people call it a growl, roar, same
Mhm.
thing. But I mean, he come in like, I was like, what the hell is going on?
Wow.
And it was such a deep, like
Huh.
it. I hear I hear grunts every year, multiple times. But when this buck come into this bottom chasing this doe and he growled like a dog almost, I was like, "What in the hell is going on?" Like it was wild. And that's just not something. I mean, you could probably YouTube it and find somebody that's in the wood 24/7 caught it on camera. But I wish I'd have had a camera that day, or at least had it recording, because it was one of the craziest vocalizations I've ever heard.
Wow, that
Never
is
heard that.
bananas. Dang.
Yeah, it was wild.
So you got your podcast, obviously, got your whole team. Like I was reading your Instagram, like you got your whole team, Blue River Bow Hunting, your Blue River Bow Hunting team. What is the next thing? Like what do you have? Is it I guess what is the next thing like as far as like expansion? Like, are you doing more hunts this year, or are you looking to do anything else? Like, what's the next step for Blue River bow hunting?
It's probably going to be more of like the merchandise side of things. I want to make shirts and hats and stickers available. I work the Deer and Turkey Expo here in Indianapolis every year for a brawhead company that I work for, and he's always telling me, bring some shirts and hats, dude. You can sell whatever you want.
Mm.
And I did the show a few years with him. Well, now he drop ships all of his stuff to me, and I go do these shows. And I was thinking to myself, dude, this is, I don't have to pay shipping. I can make a little bit of money on the side to help me fund editing software and stuff like that. You guys get it.
Yep.
And that's something that I want to get into. And when I was talking about this with a couple of my guys, the one guy he's like a chef, and he's like, dude, we should put a cookbook together. I'm like, how about you put a cookbook together and I'll eat what you cook? But it's just stuff like that. I want to just make more content. That's why really it was me and my friend that started Blue River Bow Hunting, and he isn't as much into it anymore as I am. And now me and my neighbor are nuts with it. We film everything, we film each other, and then we got a few other people to jump on board, but it's hard to get them to put the dedication into that as deep as we do it.
Yep.
So I kind of capped it off. There's like 6 or 7 of us that really do a whole lot of stuff, but I want to be expanding the content. I want you to be able to see something once a day from a socials, from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever.
Yep.
See a clip of the podcast, or a question on our socials or anything like that. And I just want to be more out there and get my brand out there and grow as much as I can.
Yep. No, that is always the plan. Like growth, continuing to grow. Lord knows it can be frustrating
For sure.
at times, but I know for me, just from this conversation that we have and looking at your stuff earlier today, like in preparing for this, like you do really, really great content. Like I said, I can't wait to deep dive more
Appreciate
into
that.
your hunt videos. Hey, Tony, you got anything else for Brett before we get him out of here? Because we knocking on 2 hours, fellas.
I seen that. I'm having a blast
Like,
though. Having a
and
blast.
it's funny because me and Antonio literally just had the conversation like, you know, 45 to an hour, like that's pretty good. But like this has been an enjoyable, like really enjoyable conversation.
I
But
appreciate that.
yeah, no, because I looked down, like I tapped my phone and I just kind of like ballpark, and I was just like, wow, well, yeah, I see how some of these guys do get to like to it. Because that, you see podcasts, either podcasts on YouTube or like listening to them, and you're like, how the hell did they get 3 hours? Like,
All
what are they
right.
talking about?
And
So,
and let me know any way that I can help you guys out with. Obviously, when you guys put this out, let me put it on socials and get it out there for you, because I've enjoyed, because I did the same thing. I did my homework too, right? And he sends me your guys' episodes all the time. I think I've even commented on there before, just trying to get you guys, when somebody likes it and comments, it helps it out a little
yeah, it
bit,
helps the engagement.
algorithm.
Yep.
And, any way I can help you guys out, I really enjoy your guys' show as well.
Oh man, I appreciate that. Me, like I said, more so me, I think, than Antonio. I'm gonna do like one of the guys that I work with. I don't want to speak for Antonio here as I get ready to speak for Antonio. It drives me up a wall because like I said before, you put so much into it, And I get down really easily because it's like, all right, I've done this piece of content. I think it's the greatest freaking thing ever. And then it doesn't get like the views you get. And I get
Yeah.
down. But then he'll send me a text message where somebody be like, oh man, did y'all grew up together? Like, how long have y'all known each other? Like y'all chemistry is just natural. It's like, oh, I look forward every week because I don't know what crazy shit y'all gonna say. And it's just like,
All right.
all right, I guess I gotta come back for another week because there's
Nah,
five
man.
more people that are looking forward to what we saying. So
You guys keep doing you. You keep grinding it out, man. It'll all come around for you. And even if it doesn't, just keep doing it, man. If you really enjoy it, like I do with my show, man. Some weeks I'm in the same boat. I'm like, man, this is bullshit. Why am I even doing this? This is a waste of my time sometimes. Like what's even worse is when you get a guest that you think is going to be incredible in my shoes anyways, and then I get talking to him, and then like the first 5 minutes of me talking to him, I'm like, this person has absolutely no idea what I'm talking about.
yeah, it's like, how am I gonna pull 30 minutes out of
Yeah,
this
right.
dude, like, or whatever? Or you have the one guest, like I had this one guy the first time when I first started my podcast when it was just me, and I brought him on to talk about hunting, and we literally talked about everything else. And it was just like, oh yeah, I was 5 star, da 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 da, and I did da 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 da, and they should have took me and da 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 da. And I'm just like, I mean, I work in media, so like I know the art
Right.
of shutting somebody up, but I could not wedge my way in to cut that off. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is going to be terrible. So, but no, Brett, you are welcome back anytime. Anytime you want me on, Antonio on, you want us on
Absolutely.
together, like just let us know. Like I said, I really enjoy what you putting out. Antonio, get in there because I know if people do comment, they're gonna be like, damn, Adam never shuts up and Antonio don't never get to say nothing.
You know what? No, because Adam, I normally jump in, but sometimes when you see somebody's they got good interaction, good conversation going on, just shut up. Just let people talk, man.
Yeah.
You know. And
I
I
got
say, Adam's enjoying this one. Let the man have a good time. But when we put that list together, and I say, hey, here's a few, and I put Brett on there because and Adam, you know me. I mean,
Yep.
we connect pretty quick. And when I meet someone and I just feel like this is good folks, this is good
Yeah.
people, I'm gonna stick with you. And then like I said, I met my man down there. Brett was that 3, 4 years ago?
Oh, it's been longer. We've been married since 2018. That was 2018.
That was
Because remember
2018.
we went to
Oh my
Vegas
God, it
after
is
that,
right.
remember?
That was
Yeah.
2018.
I was about to say,
Oh,
y'all been knowing each other for a long time because like he would send me random pictures that you would send him, like trail cam pictures.
That's awesome.
And I'm just like, who is this dude and where does he live? Like, because it would be freaking monsters. So,
yeah, but just when you connect with folks, it's just me. I can know in the first 5 minutes whether this is going to be all right or not.
yeah,
You got a 5 minute window, and after that, I'm gonna zone you out.
yeah, yeah,
But
same,
yeah, I
same.
was just like, I said this. We talked. I said this is my dude right here. I said he's cool people, and I said let's exchange information, get numbers, stay in touch, and golly, I can't believe that's been 2018, man.
I know. Then we went to Vegas, remember?
We I forgot we went to Vegas together.
Oh my God.
I came straight out to Turkey Woods, put my clothes on, and hopped on a plane.
But you know what? With the Vegas, that was kind of like, hey man, what's going on? Just chit chat, talking, and it was like, oh yeah, we're going to Vegas. I said, we going to Vegas. Are we going this week? I said, we're going that week. So it's like, y'all going to be in Vegas the same week we're going to be there? Oh man, get the hell out of here.
That limo ride with you guys in Vegas is a highlight of our
Hey,
relationship. We talk about that limo
Brett,
ride a
Brett,
lot.
Brett. Mm-mm.
Oh, sorry.
You ain't gotta cut it off. I already know how high side over here work. He sent me a text message today, and I had to like Antonio send me messages, and I have to think like before I respond because I forget. Honestly, I forget half of the shit I say. Like, and I tell people that in real life. Like, people be like, "You really don't pay attention to the things that you say," and I'm like, "I do," but like I just forget them. So he sends me this random text message today. It's just like. They don't serve shrimp scampi in Punta Cana. They serve lobster. And I'm like, the hell is he talking about? Like, and I was like, okay, I must be saying something on the podcast about like him eating shrimp scampi because I always give him a hard time because
Yeah,
he's Mr. Finer things in life, and hey, like it's all love, but I give him a hard time just
I
as
love
much
it.
as
I
I
love it.
can.
Hey,
And
hold
he's
on now. Wait a minute now. Brett, I remember, man, we was feeling pretty good that one night.
yeah,
Oh
see,
yeah, for sure, for
Hey,
sure.
hey, the next thing I know, everybody's like, man, let's go get some lobsters.
man, Antonio's like the world heavyweight champion, man. You hang out with the champ, you ain't. It's gonna be first class all the way.
Well, it was funny that particular night he's talking about. We're all having a good time. I think we all end up meeting in like this corner hot tub of this place, and we're all having a good time. Well, they had these shots called Mama
Scooby-Doo.
Wana or whatever it's called. It's called the Baby Maker, and it's like some kind of rum. Well, we're all having shots and having a good time, and we're all like, "Let's meet for dinner. Let's have a good time." Well, I was in no shape to go to dinner, and my wife wasn't either, so we just went to sleep. Well, the next morning we're all like apologizing. We're sorry, man. We didn't make it to dinner last night. Nobody made it to dinner that night.
No. Matter of fact, hold up. Didn't you guys did a dinner on the beach one night?
Yeah, we had the guy set us up the last night. We had Pacer gear on, and this like waiter at the thing was like going nuts that we had Pacer gear on. And I gave him a pretty good tip for breakfast. And he goes, "What time will you be here for dinner?" I said, "Tell me what time I need to be here for dinner." So they set us a time up. We come up, had a table overlooking the ocean, lobster steak already sitting there. I'm like, "This is the shit right here, boy." I didn't have to wait in line for nothing.
So I'm gonna tell you something. We're gonna let you get out of here. So that night, we were out there and we saw you guys out there on the beach. So we was all gonna come out there and bum rush y'all dinner, right? But of course, my wife, being the sensible one, she said, "Guys, come on, it's they on their honeymoon. Don't do
Right.
that."
Oh, there's a
Trying to
there's another funny story to that I'll tell off the air because I don't want your listeners to hear it.
oh my God. Brett, thank you again. Let everybody know where they can find your podcast, YouTube, everything. Let people know because they need to go watch your stuff.
Absolutely. You can find us anywhere on socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much anywhere there's socials. And then podcast wise, we're on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, about anywhere you can find a podcast. And we really appreciate it if you go check some of our hunts out. We're trying to expand that more and more and working our tails off, trust me. But I appreciate
Absolutely.
you guys having me on, man. It was a blast.
Absolutely. Blue River Bow Hunt and Brett Morse, Antonio Marsh, hunting with the Marshes, and I am simply AB3 at Official Bryant Land. Thank y'all for taking the time to check out this show, this podcast. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that stuff, Official Bryant Land, and we will see y'all on the next one.
Peace.